Our Newline panel has a settings gear at the top here. And we do want to talk about the settings for the panel as it is separate from the settings when you access the built-in PC. In order to access the settings, you're going to hit this settings gear at the top right-hand corner. Both the previous generation of the panel and our current generation have the settings gear in the same location. There are a few options here inside of our settings that we do encourage folks to look at. The first one is our date and time. Previous iterations of the panel come pre-standard to use the 24-hour format. If you don't want the military time to be in existence on your board and you would prefer the standard 12-hour format, all you have to do is come in here where this little blue toggle is on for use 24-hour format and press that once. Once that has been disabled, you will go back to traditional 12-hour formats. The second thing that we want to talk about is the apps. Apps is important because Newline does something that we find can be a little off-putting, and that is it enforces within its apps the ability to not update. So in order to make sure that you can update any application that you have on the board, you're going to need to follow this process. So for this instance, we're going to select the Newline cast. Again, you'll notice it is branded a Newline application. But if I scroll down here to advanced and scroll all the way down, although we have done it already on this board, this install unknown apps option comes pre-selected off. And so this is what you'll see. So all we want you to do is come in here and make sure that this gray toggle is now switched to blue. Any application that you are alerted to that needs to run an update, you're going to want to come in here and make sure that this toggle is turned blue in those applications. Any application that is on your board that you install or that comes previously installed, you'll need to follow this course. We will talk about in a few minutes the Newline application store. We currently do not have any restrictions on what apps you can add to the board. So we encourage you, if you are the kind of person who wants to go out and explore what applications are there, you utilize that platform. We would also encourage you, if you are so inclined, to utilize display and theme. There are different displays and themes. You can also use this area to set a background if you are so inclined. You can do that here. We also have this power option. This setting is important because this is going to lead to a couple of our best practices. So the first one that we want to make people aware of is the energy saving mode. The new panels come pre-created and delivered to us utilizing 120 minutes. That is best practice for us. We want the board no later than 120 minutes to go into sleep if it is not being utilized. 90 minutes is also an acceptable time frame. We do find that there are complaints from our staff if you use the 30 or 60 minutes that it can go to sleep in what feels like a quick amount of time. What we do not want to see when we come around and support your needs is this never option. These, much like a television, have a lifespan. Unlike the previous smart boards that had the projector bulbs that had that 15 to 20,000 hour lifespan for a bulb, if we handle these correctly, we can have up to 3 times that amount, up to 60,000 life hours out of this board. So we really want to make sure that we are doing everything we can, especially around our power saving and energy saving, to save the length of time these boards are on and utilized, or more importantly, on and not utilized. So that is our energy saving mode. The other area that we encourage all of our teachers to utilize is this auto power off function. As you saw, it was toggled to gray. We want to toggle it to blue to turn that on. And then the second option here where it says power off time, it brings us to this clock. What we recommend is you go into the PM, do 4 and then 30, and then you can select Monday through Friday. What this ensures is that if this board is powered on through the work week, whether you're in your classroom or not, whether you have a substitute, whether you've forgotten and human error happens, every day at 4:30 this board will power off. Just means that every day when you get in, if you want to utilize your board, you will have to turn it on. We recommend this as best practice, and this is an expectation that we have of all of our staff utilizing this board. So that is our auto power off that auto power off time and our energy saving mode. One option that we do get asked about often is the auto power on function. As much as it would be a benefit, I'm sure, to come in the morning and have this device automatically turned on, our biggest concern with that are the days where you have no students or a day that you are not in the building. We want to make sure that we stay on top of this, and the board can sometimes become secondary in all the other concerns that our teachers have. So we do not recommend that auto power on function. You'll also note that the power setting for the board itself is going to be different than the power settings for the built-in PC, and we'll touch on those in a few minutes. The last thing that we talk about inside of settings is all the way down the bottom here under System. Inside of our system settings, this is where you are alerted if you have an update to run on the board itself. Most of the time, the Newline panel will alert you on screen that you have an update to run, but if you are in the middle of teaching class where you do not have time at that moment to run the update, this is where you can come and search to see if there's an update available. The last thing that we'll talk about inside of settings will not appear on the newer versions of the model. Rather, this is something that exists in our older models. Under the applications here in settings, the older models of our boards have a whiteboard setting. From that whiteboard setting, you can select whether it is the classic version of the whiteboard or the new version of the whiteboard. The difference in the two, the classic version is a grade screen that has lines similar to graph paper. The whiteboard, as it is now, is truly a whiteboard. We strongly recommend that if you have an older model smartboard that you change to the new version of the whiteboard. A lot of our trainings center around how to utilize the new whiteboard and best practices within.